what it's all about. The DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash Grand Final between two amazing teams that will fight for the DreamHack All-Stars title and a 25k prize pool. Well, I can't wait to start this grand final. So welcome on stage, Team Liquid and Team Fnatic. Woo! Okay, so I'm here with the grand final. And of course, I want to know from both of you, do you have anything to say to each other? Because I think we just want to start this.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see if Lowell's Monk can carry it or if it's going to be impossible to take us down.
Okay. And you?
I don't even know what he said, but good luck, man.
Okay, well, let's start this grand final. And back to you, casters.
Thank you very much. Nice here. that was funny of an interview here for sure. Vortex not having any of it.
Pretending not to speak English. I've seen this before. I only speak Spanish.
What was it I said? I don't even know what he said, but good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. Pretending he didn't understand, but we all know what Quacknix meant, because we've seen that Monk come into play and be a huge factor of Liquid's success here, though. So there was definitely some truth to what he was saying, even though the trash talk attempt failed, essentially.
It's really hard to trash talk and make a big impression when the other didn't hear you. Maybe you should go again and whisper it in his ear.
Or was he even paying attention? I'm not even sure. Vortex just kind of gets on with his game.
I'm pretty sure that's a yellow card. It might very well be a yellow card. You can't whisper anything into your opponent's ears.
I haven't heard about yellow cards since WCG, actually.
Because you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They existed?
I once tripped over someone's bag, which he conveniently put in the middle of the lane.
And you got a yellow card.
And I knocked into someone playing. So, I mean, that's pretty bad. And they were like, a yellow card. One more time you trip over something, you were disqualified.
Robbie, so BM.
Were you extra careful after this?
Yes.
All right, let's get serious here. Let's get hyped. We've got the grand finals coming up. Let's take a look back on the group stages here that we had played to see what happened back then. That's Group A here that we have, where Team Dignitas, TCM, it was Rocket and My Insanity.
Yeah.
They were playing in this, and we saw, I guess, it was pretty straightforward. My Insanity, though, surprisingly, I guess, did very well, a little bit conveniently here for them in taking second place. Anything surprised you guys other than this?
Well, considering the top four that I picked, no, not too much. Although I thought that My Insanity would actually beat out Rocket in their first series. Just so happens that we get that usual GSL bracket style where they lose the first one and then they come back in the second one.
Yeah. And My Insanity, you know, they showed a great performance here against Fnatic, although it wasn't really actually enough, but back to you, Doug.
And here with Group B, we saw Team Liquid's topple G2 here in the decider match, and it was Fnatic that beat Team Liquid earlier in the tournament in the winner's match here. So we're actually going to have a rematch here in the grand finals, but that was also, I guess, pretty straightforward. Even though Virtus Pro and G2 in this case, who didn't make it to the next round, they are big names in the European scene.
Yeah, they've done very well for themselves in actually the whole year 2015 of Heroes of the Storm eSports. But it's Fnatic right now, right here, when it matters, that is so far unbeaten, even beating Team Liquid on the way here.
And here we have our final bracket here. Team Liquid, they beat Team Dignitas in semi-finals, and then it was Fnatic that just beat My Insanity to make it to the grand finals as well for a fantastic rematch. Skylar is here.
Yeah, this is going to be very good. And obviously, I've spoken to Team Liquid before. They said that they were very tired yesterday when they went up against Fnatic. So will that continue? Probably not. They're probably well rested now and in better spirits.
Actually, is it a rematch though, technically? Because Team Liquid not too long ago they beat Fnatic in the frag bites, and now they lost earlier when they met.
A rematch of a rematch. Oh.
Isn't there a name for when it's 1-1 and then you play a third time?
The rubber match?
Yeah.
Usually, I don't know if you use that like across tournaments, but if we actually look at those games, we can call it that. Although it is, of course, Team Liquid that has the actual tournament win, whereas Fnatic just has the group stage win, right?
Yeah.
That's true, that's true. And it's going to be a good one here, I'm sure, between these two. And anything particular here you guys are looking for in terms of maybe potential for pocket picks or anything like that, niche picks between these two?
I think Quacknix actually had a good point here addressing Lowell directly, because he has been one of the driving creative forces here for Team Liquid, not only pulling out the feared Karazim damage monk, but also, you know, going for Thrall every now and then. And I think Team Liquid, they have a lot of cool picks. Some of them work, like the
Damage
Karazim and the Thrall.
Yeah.
Some of them don't work, like the Rexar.
Yeah, very, very good point. Showing some creativity with only some of it working. And actually, creativity when it doesn't work, or in fact when it feels very hard, it's not very innovative at all. Like anyone can press all the buttons on the piano and call it creative. Never been done before, the symphony. But if it sounds like ass, then it's not really creative, right? Rexar hasn't worked yet.
Well, you're the best, Grubby. I'm so happy you're here. I believe we got a video ready, so let's check it out here.
As long as we get the better draft or feel really comfortable in our draft, I think we should beat them.
I think Fnatic is a very good team. They won us in the group stage 2-0, which was hard, but we weren't in the best conditions in those games, so I think it should be better in the final. Like, I'm confident if we play good, we can win Fnatic, just like we did like 2 weeks ago in another online thingy. So yeah, I think we should be able to win.
It will be a huge moral boost and everything for the future if we go even further.
It's like really important, because actually there have been like 3 DreamHacks before this one on Heroes, and we won all of them. So if we fail in this one, it's not a good thing. We have to win it to make it 4 in a row.
And Quacknix here that we saw in this interview, definitely I feel one of the characters here and players that's gotten himself a lot of fan here, once again, myself included. And he's not just a fantastic player who plays a lot of very difficult heroes to play. He's also a really nice personality here, even bringing a little bit of trash talk in some of his interviews.
Seems so. I mean, the thing is that we were in awe of his full stat play, but then all of a sudden he kind of flips the switch and plays Kerrigan, which isn't like playing full stat at all, and then still makes it work. So really, really cool diversity in choices here.
It almost feels like he's playing to impress here at this point, Robbie.
Yeah, I mean, I think him and his whole team are actually playing to impress here. Winning this tournament would be very, very important for him. And Quacknix, I think, as a team player, he's just trying to do as much as he can to take this tournament. Looking a little bit at Team Liquid here, DreamHack, 3 DreamHacks they've won already. If they win a 4th, 4 in a row, DreamHack runs a lot of tournaments across a lot of different games. I don't know if that has ever been done yet, 4 in a row.
Very rarely. I think Tasia did very well in StarCraft at DreamHack.
Yeah, maybe like 2, but
no, but not
consecutively.
No, not at all. And the thing is that we were talking about the idea of Europe was in a little bit of chaos at the moment, and then look who comes out on top at the end of a DreamHack here. It's Team Liquid once again, flying that banner high. So very, very cool to see them stand the test of time, even after roster swaps.
Especially since you were doubting them earlier on this desk.
There was Brits playing, I was obliged.
All right.
Even 2 months ago, everyone was kind of writing Team Liquid's eulogy. It was like, well, we're just writing them off. They were great ones, we know, in ancient history half a year ago. But now they're just not very relevant anymore for a top 4 contender. Here they are.
To be honest, after Prague, you know, there was this huge doubt. Like, we knew they were going to do some restructuring, but there was these rumors, you know, that Vortex might go back to StarCraft with Legacy of the Void coming out. We weren't sure that Lustifong was going to keep on playing either. But let's take a look here at some of the players from Fnatic. We've got Smexy's Style here, the support. Definitely one of the cool guys here in this scene that's been around for some time and that's done pretty well in this tournament. Shad's here.
Amazing Tassadar and Abathur play.
Yeah, in fact, you name it, Grubby. I mean, we've casted that game, and Tassadar was always such a slippery hero. And also on the other, on Shad, on the Abathur, Shad was a force to be reckoned with. And of course, caught.
Yeah. Even his face now, I think, looks funny. When you know him.
Many the MVP.
I know what you mean.
Even his nickname is like so odd.
What does
like,
it mean?
Nothing.
Why
It's
do-
just accents.
Why do his E's have eyebrows?
Yeah, because I don't know.
It
Actually.
changes the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There is
Quacknix.
the man of the hour.
He's not shying from the camera anymore.
One of the MVPs, I think, of this tournament, and most certainly of Fnatic here as well. And Breeze, the shouting guy here, who's made a lot of noise.
And then after Heroes of the Storm, he will become a fantastic hair model.
Either
an opera
that
singer.
or a grunter, like a singer.
What a team here, Fnatic. They've become, and all eyes here are set on this trophy. Of course, if you're tuning in here to this tournament, a lot of you might be interested in the Cho'Gall that you can earn yourself. All you need to do to get it is to bind your Twitch accounts to your Battle.net accounts. And if you do that, you'll automatically get Cho'Gall by December 4th.
Yeah, and be watching this final go down.
Yes.
That's all important too.
Stay tuned in.
Oh,
Everybody
yes.
wants to play Cho'Gall. Everybody who don't have it, everybody who has it is already playing it. No, actually, they're watching this right now. Maybe on the second monitor, but
You're allowed
this is
to
going
play
to be
him
a good
after
one.
this.
Yeah. Lowell here looking very focused before the draft even starts. Lusty Front, ever the calm guy. One of the calmest guys, I think, in
I was
maybe
gonna
all
say,
of the sports.
I don't think I've ever heard his voice before. I mean,
When you speak to him, he's very calm as well, trust me.
Fnatic, I don't know how they've developed such a good synergy in such a short time, because they haven't been playing together for such a long time. They were actually boot camping prior to this tournament for a little bit of time.
That's a good point that you bring up, actually, because that was one of the things that a lot of the teams had respect for Fnatic, their ability to work hard and go to boot camps like that, where other teams wouldn't not.
And it makes a lot of sense for them to boot camp in Sweden as well. The tournament takes place here. 3 of their players are Swedish. So the tournament taking place here was so easy for them to just fly here a little bit prior to the events. And let's jump into the draft here for map number 1, guys. We're going to be playing on Cursed Hollow. And I'm already seeing a little bit of movement.
having a little bit of a deja vu here. I mean, Tyrande, does she have a 90% ban rate? Could we go as far as that?
Yeah.
Probably 80 to 90% ban rate and a 10 to 20% pick rate.
And then Kelthas, you know, he's next in line, almost an 80% first pick rate, I would say.
But Tyrande, doesn't she have like a 100% losing rate? She hasn't been doing so well, even when she was picked.
Strangely enough.
So Abathur gets banned here from Team Liquid, and then we see a Kelthas first pick from Fnatic. We're all thinking the same thing. Men is going to be pretty happy, right?
Yeah. Falstad being taken here by Team Liquid to start off. So we definitely see these two assassins specifically having risen to the very highest of heights here in the tournament.
I mean, no question here. We've seen almost nobody else come out earlier on in the draft. It's been almost all about Falstad and Kelthas.
And ETC. And Murden and Tassadar.
I mean, in terms of damage dealers.
Sure, yeah.
And especially against Fnatic. You don't want to have Quacknix on his most precious hero. I mean, we see what this young man is capable of doing when he's rocking the Flappy Bird, man. So,
remember what Fnatic mentioned in the interview here with Quacknix about Lowell trying to carry with the Monk Karazim. Do we see some kind of counter pick? Do they maybe go for a ban in the second banning phase
But
here?
they said, we're gonna see if you can carry with Karazim. If they pick him, then they can't see it.
Yeah,
so
but then,
it would be a lie.
Yeah, but then they would have conditioned their opponent to think they're gonna get Karazim, but then they ban it, and it's like mind
Crushing their hope.
Yeah.
Hope torture. Well, for now, they seem to be letting it go through, and with 2 warrior picks already, that seems to be an attractive option, Karazim. First, we're going to the ban phase. Team Liquid, second ban.
Ban a support that you think that they may want here.
They have been doing that a lot, Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Second ban support, maybe Uther.
What do you guys think about the synergy between Sonya and TRL with Sanctification? We know what an Uther and Divanchian looks like on Sonya, so in comparison...
It's the same thing, except on everyone.
yeah.
It's really quite amazing, Tyrael. We saw it just last game, hell, in the second semifinals. Stitches couldn't catch a break. Every time Tyrael was there to save Sonya with the Sanctification after the Hook Gorge.
Yeah.
so who are you guys thinking should be a good ban here for Liquid?
Tassadar would be a great support to Sonya as well.
Yeah.
Uther, Tassadar.
Right though.
Wow, okay.
With the map being Cursed Hollow, we've actually seen mobility being prioritized with Falstad and Brightwing sometimes.
I don't think that's actually a ban to prevent the enemy team from picking Brightwing. I think it's more of a gap closer or gap filler. You know, you want a certain hero to have. And
they gotta have at least some inkling they don't want right wing. Otherwise, they could have just banned Murky.
They must be doing something here with this first draft, surely. But Brightwing is a very uncommon ban. Why would you go for that? Do they want to remove something like a polymorph potentially later on down the line? What is this?
I do think it means they're not taking Tastadar now, because if you allow Brightwing Tastadar to go through, that is a great combo.
But they could have picked Tastadar themselves in this
right, but
moment.
that means that they don't want to now, I think.
And then Fnatic, they didn't want to be taken to prom against their will, so they're not going to want to see an ETC using Mosh Pit with Divine Shield. They just ban Uther instead.
The favorite combo for Team Liquid seems like here, ETC Uther. They're not first picking him anymore, prioritizing Falstad. Instead, of course, they have a very strong hero in Falstad, but at least in the second ban phase, Fnatic will deny that.
So Karazim's coming out for sure, it's going to be it.
Low on the damage, Karazim, presumably. Gerdam Herd could also play Karazim if no additional supports will be taken.
Yeah, and we've seen Gerdam Herd doing a lot of great Divine Palms. I mean, he definitely has what it takes to be a very successful support player here as well. And there are not many top-tier support players anymore available.
Yeah, Tastadar, of course, is still available. He does do great supporting, but indeed, they don't want to take him. So Sylvanas comes out here, and what does Fnatic do?
We've seen quite a bit of Sylvanas in the latest few games in particular. Why do you guys think that is?
Oh, you're shutting down all of the opponent's abilities.
Those were
locked in fast.
Very, very quick picks here on Morales and Tastadar. Seems like Fnatic knew exactly what they wanted to go for.
Damn, this is a lot of sustain. Tastadar shields, Tyrael shields, and Morales shields. Team Liquid, they have a solo tank. They've got damage Karazim. Can they take another assassin? Then it will be support Karazim, of course.
It still begs the question for the Brightwing ban, though, because, I mean, Morales is still very, very top tier here, and more to as a go-to here with the bruises that you've got.
But have we seen Fnatic play Morales yet? Maybe they were not aware that Fnatic is comfortable with Morales.
Maybe. They knew that they was playing Brightwing before, at least.
Are we happy on Fnatic with the amount of cancelling potential on the Mosh Pit from ETC?
Wow, they only have two.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Morales as well, of course. Oh, nice. Team Liquid coming with Thrall. Well, that's certainly some damage there.
They were pushing them into Morales. If you, like, them taking Thrall here, they've used that in the past to deal with Medic. They were pushing them down that path after seeing the Uther ban as well.
Yeah, so they remove Brightwing, they force Morales, and then go for the Thrall.
Anticipating the Uther ban after their Brightwing.
Yes.
This is interesting.
So maybe Brightwing, you know, she's a very mobile hero with the blink heal, being able to swap locations very fast. So Thrall has a lot harder time to actually engage on a Brightwing than on a Luther Morales.
And Sylvanas, Wailing Arrow, is a great follow-up to actually try and blow her up during all of that, because it is such a long range.
And of course you would like to hit Tyrael as well with that Wailing Arrow, so that he cannot save Morales in the nick of time with Sanctification. So the plan for Team Liquid is clear here, but how does Fnatic deal with that?
So are you guys liking the draft much better for Team Liquid than Kendrick?
I think it's smart. Sorry, go on.
It depends on the execution, though. I mean, if one of those heroic ability misses, their plan could actually be cancelled here. So if everything works well, I think Team Liquid has a great recipe to counter Fnatic. But overall, I think Fnatic's comes a little bit easier to play here.
Grubby and Kailaris?
I think Team Liquid has the slightly more scary comp in the sense that Mosh Pit could just be devastating with a lot of follow-up.
Yeah.
But Fnatic got a lot of sustain. If they can somehow interrupt that Mosh Pit, I feel like they're starting to able to be turning that fight around and doing the counterattack and sweeping up, basically.
But it is definitely going to be key here. We are about to get started with the grand finals of the DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash between Team Liquid and Fnatic. Kailaris and Grubby, it is time for you to amaze us once again with your casting.
Thank you very much, Todd. Let's get into it. The grand final here between Team Liquid and Fnatic. To the left-hand side, we have Team Liquid with Gerdam Herd on Karazim, Lowell on Thrall. Chris is going to be playing Sylvanas. Vortex is going to be on Falstad. And finally, Lucifron will be on ETC. Then to the right-hand side, we have Team Fnatic with Smexy Style playing the Medic. Shad on Tastadar. We have Mene playing Kael Fast. We have also, it's Quacknix going to be playing Sonya. And then up to the top, we have Breeze playing Tyrael.
Breeze did some amazing Tyrael play just now in the semifinals to keep saving Sonya there. Wow, look at this! A 5-man push to get that tower by second 20. We've seen this before. Get a nice bonus XP.
Yeah, just a nice little bit there with Lucifron also zoning up towards the top there, making sure there was not going to be any very quick rotation down. Safe to say if they were all in mid lane.
They're going for another one. Sorry, they're going for another one.
That's perfect. their opponents aren't reacting to this. Why not Nerf take this down and then allow Chris to have full dominance over this lane?
Now Falstad will soak the middle lane here. He's getting about 4 to 5 minions or so with a fly to the top, where Tyrael is already there.
We'll see Breeze just taking the experience up towards the top. Notice how they did sacrifice a little bit of minion experience for that, but 2 towers this early on is a very powerful little lead that can then escalate later on into the shrine.
Right, so
tribute.
Yeah, so they don't have, let's say, 2 towers worth of XP lead. They do have some of the lead, and of course they have that fortification lead.
Yes.
Now, there are no camps that actually Team Liquid can catch that will attack the bottom towers.
That is true.
So that is one disadvantage, at least in setting it up later for pushes. The only one is the boss. We don't usually see that one coming in too soon, though.
I see Chris and also Lowell there waiting in the bushes to just see if Breeze moved a little bit further. Shad, though, has been able to realize that this kind of thing was going on, as they were not present in lanes elsewhere, and the camps aren't up yet. So where else could they be other than in a bush being sneaky?
Yeah, exactly. Now, as the game kind of devolves into a little bit more standard laning setup, 3-3-1 for both players, Sylvanas will not be able to get as much value as she did before, killing a tower with such ease.
Good, just chilling out down here, bringing down that wall, and that once again puts them in a very interesting position. They've already got their level 4 talent a little bit quicker than their opponents. It's really going to revolve around the level 7 and towards 10 talents, I feel, here with the tribute fight.
All right, moving to the top again, doing a bit of rotations here, going top with all 4, it seems like.
Looking like Chris and Thrall at level 4 have a power spike. They both have Envenom at this point. If anybody steps out into the middle of lane and double Envenom goes down with extra damage hitting them, it could be very devastating here, as Quacknix is going to be the first target of this here, and he's been pushed into a very bad position here by Lucifron. This could be first blood, doing quite a bit. They're going to go for the Verdant Sphere. Gravity Labs able to save Quacknix. He will not be first blood just yet.
The Spirit Walls from Lowell missed Quacknix. Do they hit? It's a guaranteed kill. A little bit of a mistake like that in your skill shot can mean that Quacknix got away.
And we now have the first tribute on the way. It will be level 5 against 5, so no talent disadvantages at the moment here, but slight benefit going over to Team Liquid in this position. Because the towers are down at the bottom, they don't have as an easier retreat path to go back to.
I wonder if Karazim took down the healing fountain yet. That would also be a very powerful tool in denying the opponent healing in between the skirmishes. No skirmishes will happen, though. Fnatic did not want any of that.
They're looking to try and catch up on the experience, looking to push on towards Vortex here as well, who flew back. He knew he was dead. That is going to be first blood going over towards Fnatic.
Wow, first blood for Fnatic. Quite a surprise here with all the skirmishes we've seen so far.
And Quacknix just getting pushed forwards here against Lucifron. Not exactly the easiest lane for Lucifron to 1v1 on, but maybe if those rotations come around from Thrall and Sylvanas again, that could help. But they need Falstad to go back up to top, as they're just going to have to soak up towards the top.
Now, Morales is going to be the most fragile hero in Team Fnatic's side there, and so she's picking up advanced block, which is really helpful. Thrall is one of the hardest hitting auto attack heroes in the game, and when he goes for her, blocking 50% of his huge hero basic attack, up to 3 times, that's going to be very helpful in trying to stay alive.
And Cleanse gets picked up at level 7 as well, so they are worried about those stuns. We also have the Kala's Embrace coming in at level 7 for Tassadar, so extra shielding numbers and extra support numbers will be very important, but that's a huge blow up onto Vortex as he gets ripped apart here under the pressure of Mini and Quacknix manages to keep himself alive just barely with the level 7 talent.
Yeah, that ferocious healing was just enough to save him. He would have died in about 2 to 3 seconds. 10 seconds cooldown on that healing, so it's fairly likely that it would come back in time.
The smallest poke. You're not taking that, mate.
Shad, hard stunning next to
They're having a little bit of fun here to start things off, but they've already rotated around nicely so that they can rival this 1-for-1 tribute position. Falling behind 2-0, it's not a comfortable spot to be in, especially if your opponents get kills, but they are going to get them one themselves here, as Gerd is trying to evade and dash, but it's going to be a little bit too much.
Yeah, he tried to make it last as long as possible, but the second minion wave was too far away. You cannot use Radiant Dash on buildings, so he pretty much tried to dodge as many abilities as possible, hoping one of his allies would come near him, but was not going to be the case.
The smallest consolation prize is there's 3 occupied for a little while down there, but it's not much at all.
No, not much of a consolation indeed.
No, as they're going to take the easy camps on either side here, that opens things up. Now look at the experience that we have here at the moment. 3 kills against 0. That's gained themselves that small advantage towards level 10, despite those towers going down earlier on.
Yeah, I keep thinking about those towers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, such a shame they didn't translate to a continuous XP lead. But it was, of course, just a very small thing. Even if it seems so nice to get 2 towers that early, it's just a small part in the jigsaw puzzle of the entire game.
Very, very even at the moment in terms of that experience. I don't think level 10 will play much of an influence here on either side against the other. That's good here. Just going to poke away at this tribute.
It has such a thin collision size, that grenade. It's so funny to see it fly, spin and rotate and then miss.
And we do have level 10 talents coming in. Phoenix, Sanctification, Wrath of the Berserker, Shield, and needs to get out of there for just a moment here. Just good, he's quite far forwards. That force field's already going to keep him blocked in there. So he's still betting a lot of pressure. Gonna pop the palm on himself. Not gonna be triggered by Quacknix though. Sundering's gonna be used to disengage.
Vortex coming from the side there with the flank and the power throw. Gust of Wind still available, of course. We see actually the heroic from Morales coming out. Stim drone, not the Medivac, which we always see from Bakery.
A scary choice when you've got a Sonya involved in your composition. So they're going to have to be very careful about dealing with Sonya. But then again, you know, you have to get onto the Morales at the same time. If Stim drone's gone down and you're focusing on Morales, then Sonya could do massive, massive damage.
Yeah, exactly. If you get pulled out of position against Sonya, she loves picking up stragglers, just like Hyena pounces on them, if you will, with Rabid Bloodlust. So got to be careful of that, not to overextend too much onto Morales.
Of course, on the other side, we have all the usual suspects with Thundering and our Divine Palm, Wailing Arrow, Mosh Pit, and that Gust coming out here from our full status Lowell. Looking to put some pressure on. I don't know if we realized it was a 3-on-2 here, but at the same time, there goes Wailing Arrow in towards the target there, and even the Mosh Pit catching 3 of them. Shad has no answer to that at all. Gurdamer comes in for the heal. Sanctification already goes down, but not really soaking up too much damage there at all. Quacknex still under pressure. There goes Lucifer, power slides on in, finishes the target off, and Sonya will go down.
Not the way I think they envisioned it would happen, but still they get their kill using a lot of power. There was one hero that wasn't here. There was Smexy style. Morales, of course, he was doing his dutiful job of soaking the bottom lane. As it stands, that meant that no healing was available for Sonya there.
This kill is actually brilliant for them so that they can get to the tie position of 2-2, unless there's good delay coming out here from Fnatic, so they can get Sonya back into the game. And they do have abilities to do that. They have Shad with that Storm, and they're going to actually take advantage of that very, very quickly. There is Lucifer positioning himself just to make sure that that is going to try and be denied.
Breeze should have Eldrin's Might again, and Psystorm actually at the same time, wasting one of their interrupts.
Sylvanas is towards the bottom, trying to soak some experience for as long as possible while this is going on. They are going to get pushed away from this location, and that will mean a curse going over here if Team Liquid doesn't somehow find a way. Just away there from Vortex, but in the end, I don't think they can rival this position.
Well, Chris is going to actually go to the middle. Yeah, they're going to give this one up. They're going to prepare to defend the curse. Chris already in position to kill the middle lane here. Probably going to be heading top while Falstad is for sure, at least. Oh, the gravity lapse!
Oh, and a big catch there on towards Chris. He's got the palm. He will be saved, but can he still get away? It looks like he will, too close to the fort.
Nice move there by Gat. I'm saving Chris with the Divine Palm. Of course, you would like to not attack someone who has Divine Palm on him, to not proc it, but anytime against Kael'thas, that's such a hard endeavor because Kael'thas is living one. They have a mind of their own. They consume everything so greedily.
And still, with this curse though, Fnatic hasn't really got too much done at all. I mean, they're making themselves a tower or 2, but other than that, not really any structural damage towards the fort.
Yeah, they get a few towers. They're actually in the process of equalizing XP. Team Liquid managed to draw ahead a little bit with the extended soaking that Sylvanas was doing before.
Yeah, very, very important. We're seeing Giant Killer taking on Falstad as well to try and rip through the 2 tanks at the front. They don't have them as much health as some other warriors per se, but it's still a fantastic talent to take. Level 13's coming in on the other side here for Fnatic as well. So we see that Chain Bomb, we see that Mystical Spear, which is used in great effect there. But at the same time, there goes the Mosh Pit. Great denial there from Smexy style with the grenade to be able to interrupt that as quickly as possible. Lucifer taking a lot of damage there. Palm's already been thrown down. They're going to focus down Kael'thas. He gets brought away there, despite the Chain Bomb actually hitting a little bit during all of that. And Breeze is in the middle of things. Not exactly the best of positions for him. He will fall as well. That's a 2-for-0 trade going over to Team Liquid.
Yeah, very nice play there by Chris on Sylvanas, zoning out Smexy style, chasing him away, not allowing him to provide the healing that was so desperately required by Breeze on the Tyrael there. And this is giving Team Liquid the map control that they wanted. They're gonna go for the boss. And after they take this one, they could go for the other boss.
Exactly, it translates into that. And because Tyrael is not present and because he doesn't have level 16, there is no Holy Ground to try and make these crazy steals happen. They have to clean up this boss to the bottom, otherwise it will get good structural damage.
Yeah, one reason that they can't go for the boss immediately, the other one that is they were a little bit low on mana. That meant that 2 players went to Hearthstone for mana. Lowell and Vortex actually went for the camp. And with the amount of mana Lowell has, that means, yeah, they're definitely going to be too late for the other boss because he has to Hearthstone now as well. So a single boss is what they will satisfy themselves with, as well as the Bruiser camp. They're going to set up for that though, but Lowell will be, no, what? Lowell only tapped. So he's going to have 20% mana. This will not be possible to be a long fight for them.
Not the easiest for sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they went to the hard camp actually. I guess they're just playing it safe, more so than anything else here. But there was room, like a window at least, to try and get something done. With Sylvanas though, they can continue to pressure these buildings, shutting them down completely with her Black Arrow, an extremely powerful trait that you have available in this game. And you know, Sylvanas for the longest time did fall off for a while, but I always wondered why. She's very, very strong.
Sylvanas has great wave clear, and she was being overshadowed for a long time by Rexar, Johanna, and Leoric. Once they fixed their wave clear and nerfed it a little bit in a few, I think 2 patches ago, Sylvanas was enabled again, but it took a bit of time for people to practice her again. I think that's why she's coming back now.
Here goes Lucifron onto the front lines, going and put some pressure on towards Tassadai here. Quacknix is still in the thick of things. That's Thundering, going to knock them away for a moment, but it really doesn't do too much there. Still chasing on towards Shad. He doesn't have Dimensional Warp, but he will be able to activate that again. That's a lot of pressure going down over Lucifron. He may die to that bomb, and yes, he will. So a good pickup there by Fnatic, and the tribute spawning in the perfect place for them.
That was a bit tragic. Lucifron running away with that bomb on him. Actually, Divine Palm is still available, but he was running away from his healer. If he took 2 steps back, he would have been able to be saved. A bit of a miscommunication there, and Fnatic is gonna exploit that greedily, who are now going to be reaching level 16 after they kill 1 more tower or 1 more wave.
Yeah, that's a really good little position for them to be in. Launches himself forwards there, does Breeze, throws down the force wall just to make sure they're going to guarantee themselves level 16 before anything goes on here. And still, ETC is down. We cannot see Team Liquid engage at this point in time.
Level 16 talents are being taken by Fnatic, Arcane Barrier, Holy Ground, Dimensional Warp, and actually a different level 16 talent for Morales than we usually see. It's the purple one, and I'm sure our observer could show that one fairly soon. Shield Sequencer. Rather than going for like the extra early safeguard protection, going for a second one for free.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing to have, especially against that kind of, you know, the spread of damage that you have for something like a Sylvanas that can occur. It does negate quite a bit for sure. It's great against Kael Fast. You end up seeing it quite a lot against him at the higher levels. But for now, jumping on towards Tassadar, almost never dies, and we'll be able to get away for a little moment here.
Ooh, nice force wall. Gravity Lapse will miss. Gurdam Hurt could have been in trouble if that actually hit.
Good reaction times by ETC and Kerosene to get out of there as quickly as they did, considering the position
Chris
they were
getting zoned out with the Holy Ground. He has no more Banshees. Thundering missed spectacularly after Vortex used the gust.
That was a brilliant little pickup from them with that Holy Ground. Fantastic move. And on Cursed Hollow, it's so powerful. Now we're seeing Gerd as well as Lucifron caught in a bit of a predicament. They will be able to get away towards their bot, but that's another tribute going over towards Fnatic. They're playing this well.
Yeah, they're playing this really well, and this guarantees them the boss as well. After the boss is being defended, well, actually during the boss's defense, the next tribute will spawn. Team Liquid is in a hard location.
Just separate themselves up, make sure Mosh Pit's not going to be a factor. Look at them spread themselves down every single path there for a moment, knowing that that's the only way it could get in. Lucifron tries to power slide out. The force field was there, though, as he goes all the way to the back here towards Shad, and moving away from these. They want to finish the boss as opposed to get killed.
Well, it's a really risky endeavor. Of course, most heroics are up. Thundering is still down. Will Lucifron power slide in? Sanctification gets used prematurely.
Oh, and they're trying to go in for this. The Mosh Pit's going to be thrown down on towards Tassadar, but that's definitely not enough for them to continue that on. The boss was taken away. Gust will contact with 4 of the members and save them from the dreaded force field wall in there.
Breeze did not want to take any risk, using both Sanctification as well as Holy Ground prematurely. Oh, there's another force wall. Thundering. Shad.
Force field. And will anything more follow? No, it doesn't look like Breeze can get in position for another Holy Ground to kind of seal them in with them. As they're just going to aid the boss up towards the top, and the tribute is down towards the bottom. Maybe Team Liquid can get that, considering the positioning that we're seeing here from Fnatic.
Yeah, the boss, of course, is still quite healthy.
Yeah.
Falstad could fly there if he thinks this help is not required in the defense, but this looks pretty precarious.
It does. This is a lot of pressure that Fnatic is putting on at the moment. They're going to bring down that wall. Boss still at half health. This could be keep if they're not careful here. Falstad is in the middle. He is going to fly to the tribute to try and get it, sacrificing the keep in effect here, almost knowing that it's probably going to go down with the pressure that Fnatic's putting on.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to like invest in something that's not going to pay off anyway. At least get something else.
Yes, like again a consolation prize.
Yeah.
And even getting a little bit of a wave down here, knowing that they want to catch up in experience. It's almost a full level lead here at the moment is Fnatic.
Now Vortex is starting to Hearthstone, because if you walked back, there would be a small chance. Fnatic found an intersection course right past the boss, the left of the boss, and cutting him off. They just wanted to be really, really safe.
Especially since boss is probably going to be the next point of contention in the next couple of minutes, because it's the only one up here. But it really depends on if someone wants to take a risk, or if Fnatic feels very confident in Holy Ground.
Now, one level difference, 2 tributes apiece. We're about to enter the most impactful moment in the game here, as both teams are trying to look for an angle on the other. We haven't seen devastating mosh pits yet. We've seen devastating Holy Ground from Breeze. Is he gonna steal this Bruiser camp? Bruiser camp.
They know they're there. They're gonna try for it. Breeze launches himself on forwards, but he puts himself in a very scary spot there, and he will be able to back on out, but it gives that hard camp away. Next tribute spawning, 2 for 2 at the moment on the each side.
Look at this shot. He was thinking of taking the tribute, but he thinks his position is better spent as a distraction of dismounting people, using zoning tools to get the tribute guaranteed.
Oh, what? Lucifer from a critical error there potentially, but at the same time, Tassadar taking quite a lot of damage, stealing in Vortex as well as Lowell. They're going to back on out now, but that was a huge impact
I think he misclicked.
Here.
I think he wanted to press E and he pressed R.
Yeah, must have been. There's a good Divine Palm though, able to save Gurdam Hurd in the thick of things. He was quite out of position there as Lucifer moves forwards, but I don't think he's going to be able to get much done, although they break down Sonya. Great little moves here for them. Chain Bomb is on everybody though. It's going to bring down ETC. Chaos Fast has already fallen though. In the midst of all of this, Breeze is probably going to end up going down. They're trying to force wall them off as quickly as they possibly can here during all of this, and somehow they managed to pick up the tribute while that was going on. Interesting. They're now cursed.
Yeah, all of that happened before the fight.
Yeah.
And no keeps will be lost because they won the fight.
Yes.
Team Liquid getting a 2 for 1. They could have had even more, 3 for 1. But the really big thing that stands out here, kind of like a sore, is the random mosh pit misclick.
Yeah.
And very surprising that afterwards, they were actually able to win the fight.
Uncharacteristic there.
Yes.
A little bit uncharacteristic for sure.
But very respectable to do that right after that.
Level 20 talents coming in, of course, here for Fnatic with, we have Bolt of the Storm, we have Hardened Shield, we have Caduceus Reactor 2.0, and some good old extra force walls here in terms of the cooldown, of course, and obviously that little bit of extra range.
50% extra range, going cooldown 12 to 11 seconds. Now we see the level 20 talents coming in very soon from Team Liquid as well.
Sonya not picked her level 20 just yet. They're going to have Nexus Frenzy, Triple Bolt coming out, and then obviously Storm Shield here for Karazim. And we will have Hardened Shield coming out for Sonya in the end.
Yeah, I was really surprised if he wasn't taking Ignore Pain. Going for Nexus Blades, like, wow, really? Or maybe even the what's it called? Anger management.
Maybe
it's not that good.
Maybe he would have gone for something different if Epic Mount had come out for a false start or something, but
I don't know.
It's ambitious. It's an ambitious call for sure.
Probably not.
As for now, Team Liquid here still positioning themselves. They don't have much structural damage on the outer rim of their opponents, of course, with 2 forts still outlying here.
Yeah, Fnatic is definitely winning the siege wars here. 5 forts versus just 2. And look at this. Started to push in. We thought that it was like a Western showdown here in a 5 versus 5, but actually Fnatic gave them the slip and went to the middle and started to put pressure on the middle fort there with the bruisers.
Of all here, like, look how easily they gave up Tassadar, knowing that there's just so much defensive capability. It's like, we don't even bother.
No.
Yeah. Even though like 4 of them were surrounding him. Any other hero, that would have been a dead hero.
Yeah, exactly. Even Zeratul.
Yeah.
You can only bolt once, but Tassadar has like redundancy protection.
Yeah. too true. Oh, this is a great catch here for Fnatic. Gonna, whoa, actually bolt forward and power slide away as well with the actual palm on him. So there was no peaceful riposte. He's gonna throw down the Storm Shield on towards Chris and Lowell here and Gerd, but that's all that they got out of that. That was a lot of cooldowns gone.
Ooh, Team Liquid is not on point here with the Divine Palm on the Half-Life ETC. Misconstruing the amount of damage that there would be taken. Now, this is not disastrous. A single tribute is not the end of the world. Fnatic already reset their tribute count, of course, because they just got the curse. Chris, though, on Sylvanas, he's got to protect that bottom. It's actually Kara's team who seems to be going to the bottom. There's a Siege Giant camp pushing there.
Yeah, they're
gonna take down the keep.
They must,
right now.
They need to start their own boss or something like that. Actually, it looks like Fnatic have backed off from their boss, potentially anticipating Team Liquid coming in and trying to steal it in a 5v5 situation with equal talents. But you're right, that bottom keep may end up dying
it
here.
Looks
if
like
not
they're
careful.
giving up the keep to do a two-man attack on the boss.
It's ambitious because if they get found here, if they realize that they are being slowed down, why can we only see just a few of them? Why are they not cleaning up that bottom position?
It's kind of a cool move, showing 3 people. It's very unlikely that...
Quacknix has spotted it, and this is the perfect time for him to spot it. Also, look at the Team Liquid members. They're all out of position here. There could easily be a steal. Mena needs to reposition just slightly.
Barrel rolling in, using the gust.
Oh, he's positioned for it. Is he going to go for it? Holy Ground's already been used there. There's the gust. Will they be able to pick it up? They get the steal.
Team Liquid gets the steal.
And will they be able to push on towards Shad as well? He was very, very low. Luciferon's kept alive there by Gerdem Herd, being able to Radiant dash forwards. What a steal coming out from Vortex to get things rolling.
Wow, Team Liquid manages the chaos correctly. Something going right for them in the last few encounters finally. And they're getting that boss, getting some much needed structural damage here.
I say they get the steal. It was almost getting the secure. It was their boss, you know, like it was on their side. They'd done so much damage to it, but with Fnatic's positioning, it looked like they were in a great spot to be able to pick that up. Not going to be the case. This boss going to do some structural damage for sure. The curse is on them as well here. What a game to start this final. Team Liquid at the moment really ramping up the pressure because they have to. They've lost so much structural integrity back home.
There's one thing here. We've got 1 heroic for Team Liquid. We've got about 4 heroics here out for Team Fnatic. Fnatic have a choice after killing the boss to do a really hard engage here.
Mena was in a very scary spot there. That could have been very, very devastating indeed, but they didn't follow up with anything that we had from Luciferon pushing onto that left-hand side. Right now, they are being zoned down. Sylvanas with a boss is very powerful indeed. Definitely something you can't underestimate.
Luciferon moving forward with the power slide. We see Ignore Pain coming out for Quacknix already.
They must be just looking for kills here. They must be just looking for kills. They have to get out now. They are quite low. This could be a bit devastating. Spectre Style is also very, very healthy as well. That's a lot of damage already coming out. Palm goes down on towards Vortex very early in this fight considering, but they just didn't want it to get him blown up. 1 member going down at this point would be devastating.
Sanctification is available, as is Thundering and Wailing Arrow, but it looks like Team Liquid is quite interested to do a full disengage.
Yes.
Bolt of the Storm was used on Sylvanas and Thrall, so they cannot fight safely for another 1 minute or so. And they got what they came for. They got a keep, which means equal keeps.
And now, Team Liquid, in theory, can challenge their opponent's boss when they get information of it, when it's going to be challenged here, because they were able to steal away. Gust potentially could even get the proper steal up towards the top if Fnatic isn't careful. So they've got to orchestrate this carefully.
Yeah, right. It wasn't stealing of their own boss, of course. It's not stealing when you pick up your own dropped money. But in this case, they can get downright thieving in that contentment for the top boss.
Yeah, we need
difficult.
We need a thief hero in Heroes of the Storm for sure. He just comes up, pickpockets you, and walks away. Steals all your camps.
Oh. That one wall though is going to give them away.
Falstad is.
Hey, did Lowell show himself or not?
No. No, Falstad.
Vortex is going to solo defend.
He's selling it. They've gone for this. I don't think they're even basing at the moment. They must be basing now. This is a huge move.
Can go interrupt their Hearthstone. It's 3 people here, though.
Oh my God. I think he may have even gusted there during that, I think. And he's trying to go for this core as quickly as possible. Chris blinking to the other side. He needs to stay alive to keep this all locked down. As we see Lowell here. There's the piece.
Divine Palm on the Sylvanas.
Still 30-some% here to try and blow it up. It looks like they're going to be able to get it. Gerdem Herd as well. We're staying alive. That is game number 1 going over to Team Liquid. And after a back and forth match here, they take the first game. What a way to end that, those sneaky guys. They were almost thief-like. We need that thief hero.
Incredible, really. Keeping Falstad at home to win the base race. We've seen it early in this tournament already, and then moving in with 3 instant Heartstones, but Falstad denying the additional Heartstones, and then hitting the Divine Palm on Sylvanas, guaranteed the core's death.
Very rare do you see Gust used to interrupt Hearthstones, but there you go. That was that was the reality that we live in. Gust has possibly been one of the MVPs of the entire tournament, along with Marsh, along with some other things as we continue on. But that was a really cool little performance, a really good start to this final.
I'm very impressed by the level of play of everybody that's here, and the quality of the games has been incredible.
Yeah.
Most certainly the best Heroes tournament that I've been at so far, I think. Like BlizzCon gave us a lot of good games, but this is, I feel, maybe even another level here. So many close games, so many core rushes, and this was so good.
And all that in the middle of a big turmoil that we have in Europe. I mean, these teams, most of the teams didn't really have a lot of time to focus and to prepare with their new roster, and it's even more impressive what they're pulling off here with the new players.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
I'm really surprised, in particular at Fnatic. You know, like Liquid, we always knew that potential. Like, it's their 4th grand finals here at a DreamHack. So even though they've got a new lineup, they've definitely got very experienced players. But Fnatic, to me, they kind of came out of nowhere with this. Again, you know, I've said this many times, this new lineup that they were going for. And they're just playing so well. They fought like gladiators here, this number 1. I really thought for a long time that they were just going to win. This bold call here at the end for Liquid is what did it for them.
I mean, aside from that, it felt like Fnatic was winning almost every fight, right?
Yeah.
They were just monster moding it, aside from that weird fight where ETC had popped his mosh pit like a little bit early, and let's not talk about that ever again. But
actually, let's.
But it was a bit weird.
And I'm really digging the new trend that seems to come up here during this tournament here in Jönköping. I mean, so many core rushes, so many tight defenses. I can't actually remember that there was so much action during the last minutes going on here in Heroes of the Storm.
In B4, everybody in quick match and Heroic just go for core.
You know,
hey, we're level 20. You know what time it is, right?
You know that feeling in Hero League and quick match when you can see you can go for core. All 5 of your members are alive. They have 1 alive. You say go core, and people like start branching off and going to siege giant camps. A new world order will be coming out here. Everyone who's watching, it's like you have 1 guy alive and they have 5 alive. The 1 guy goes core. Yeah, finish on 3. It's like go, just go. Anytime you think core, go.
No,
yeah,
indeed.
didn't you guys watch New Rock? He went for the core alone and won.
Dude, the amount of times I have played with Gerdem Herd, and that has happened. Both of us have gone for core after getting like 4 kills, and the other 3 have just gone elsewhere because they're random people. It can get irritating.
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard to agree on the calls. You know, everybody has different opinions. At the end of the day, Heroes is a lot about being able to come out together as a team. That's the real difficulty that can happen sometimes in some of these games. So to see these teams as well making such good calls, or I mean, whoever lost made mistakes, sure, but there's been a lot of calls.
That was a good call by Team Liquid.
Yeah, there were a lot of these calls here that we've seen in this tournament that were snap decisions, instant decisions. In these moments which are high pressure as well. It must not be easy, you know, to be able to say, let's do this. Sure, they've been wrong sometimes. We've seen some attempts at cores before that didn't work, but most of them worked though.
I mean, this one specifically, you're totally right on the point. There is a very small window where Fnatic sticks around up in that top lane and is fooled by just a Falstad standing there for a little while whilst everybody else has disappeared wherever they've gone. There is such a tight window that you were able to exploit with that Team Liquid did.
Kendrick, after playing a game like this, as Fnatic, you know, going up against somebody like Team Liquid, do you think maybe they start doubting a little bit, or do you think they just look at it and they're like, well, we know our mistakes, they were pretty clear here, let's just keep on playing this way, but even better, and we'll win the next one?
I think Fnatic, out of all the teams, has to have huge morale. I mean, Breeze, he's the igniting spark in the team. He's constantly pushing his fellow team members to bigger heights. Also, Quacknix, he looks like a very calm, very solid, very friendly guy. I don't think there's going to be any problems in terms of team chemistry here. I think Fnatic, they will analyze their mistakes as quickly as they can and then strike back in the second game here.